You stand there in awe, overpowered by their sheer magnificence. No wonder we've been intrigued, totally baffled for more than 4,000 years. And of all Egypt's pyramids, the Great Pyramid at Giza is by far the most mysterious. It's so imposing, so perfect, you can see why many insist it couldn't possibly be the work of mere mortals. It has to be a creation of the gods, either that or aliens. But at last it seems this ancient riddle has been solved. There's one man who reckons he's figured it all out. And he's willing to share his amazing discovery with us, to take us to the very heart of the mystery, deep inside the Great Pyramid, where very few have ever been. It doesn't matter how many times you see the Great Pyramid, it's always astounding. Its size, its symmetry, and most impressively, that it's been here for 4,500 years. So take a moment and take it in. The tomb of the pharaoh Cheops, or Khufu, as he's known here.
It's completely boggling. You look at it and you think, what is it? Talk to me, do something, for God's sake, I don't understand it. It's sort of really weird.
British archaeologist John Romer first saw the Great Pyramid 40 years ago. Ever since, like so many others, he's been trying to figure out how it was built.
You know, there's an old Arab saying, man fears time, but time fears the pyramids. It's the oldest thing in the world, and it just stands there.
They're impressive today, but imagine the pyramids in ancient times. Completely white, shimmering in the desert. Visitors to this land must have just looked and wondered, and they probably asked the same question we ask today. How did they do it? In this land of pyramids, the Great Pyramid is pure perfection. It's not just a huge pile of rocks neatly placed on top of each other. Okay, so everyone talks about the great precision of this pyramid, but looking at it, it looks a bit rough, actually.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bloody precise, does it?
But made well before mathematics was recognised, 2,000 years before Pythagoras came up with his triangle theorem, its perfect angles and joins make this the most precise and most confounding building in the world. You just need to know where to look. So you get this angle, where this meets this, and you get the angle of the pyramid.
Yes,
Is
exactly.
that right?
That's right. Now, this angle has to be so precise, because if you're a wee fraction of a degree out where it takes off from the bottom, you're going to be yards out up in the air up there.
What is mind-boggling about the Great Pyramid is that it's a really complex building designed with some very simple tools, the naked eye and a piece of string. For much of it, they used a plumb bob, a string with a weight on the end, and they lined it up to the stars to create one of the most accurate buildings of all time. 45 centuries later, it is still more precise than many modern skyscrapers. Obviously, the precision was no accident, but how the ancient builders got it so right without modern equipment, no one's worked out until now. So what are we looking at here?
Well, this is one of the 4 survey points that are absolutely key to understanding how this pyramid was made.
People have been tripping over these survey marks for centuries, but extraordinarily, John Romer is the first to see their significance, to crack one of the pyramid's startling secrets.
That's the third one. That's the third in the line.
Yep.
This one here is really exciting.
He's discovered a one-to-one plan of the pyramid mapped out on the Giza Plateau, right next to the Great Pyramid.
The plan of the pyramid is the pyramid itself, because if you really want to keep something that accurate, the way to do is to make your plan at the same size as the finished thing.
By measuring out the life-size plan with string, the Egyptians were able to get their ancient calculations, cubits, perfect.
Now, this is the clincher, and whatever anybody says about what I'm telling you here, and they say, oh, that's all rubbish, they never did this, but what nobody's ever going to be getting away from is if you measure 40 cubits from that point out there, you get exactly the angle of the pyramid. Not vaguely, not nearly, but 51 degrees, 50 minutes.
So what does that tell you? What are we standing on here?
We are standing on a sort of design lab. This is where they controlled the architecture of the pyramid.
But John's discovery doesn't stop there. He believes he's found yet another plan, one for the inside of the pyramid, similar to the exterior but slightly offset. The difference between the two grids giving the pyramid its magical angles. Why haven't these two plans been discovered before now?
People were looking for a single design. And what I found was there was no single design, there were two. You know, two designs just slightly disjuncted one from the other, rather like a double helix. And that, I think, put earlier people off, because what they imagined was there must be a single plan.
It's called Mahmoud's Hole. You go in, and the stonework is just as well laid in here as it is outside.
It's here, inside the Great Pyramid, where the accuracy counts, in its steep, confined corridors.
This is the world's most accurate rock-cut tunnel.
These tunnels are so narrow because they weren't built for access, but as control lines for the builders.
This is where the roots of the pyramid, this is where it all began.
We're now entering the biggest space in the pyramid, the Grand Gallery.
Look at that, huh? The Grand Gallery.
And it is grand, isn't it? And the majesty of its polished walls and vaulted ceiling takes your breath away.
When we get to this, which is the masterpiece of the whole bloody pyramid, this is...
At the top of the Grand Gallery is the Great Step, a big piece of stone smack bang in the middle of the pyramid. And to the ancient Egyptians, partway through their construction, proof the pyramid was on track.
It's the refoundation of the pyramid. You know, this is the centre line. We're setting it up again. So the head of the pyramid, the point of the pyramid, was exactly there. That line up, exactly where my point of my finger, 300 feet up there. Creepy, really creepy.
So this proved to the ancient Egyptians that they'd got it right to this point.
Well, it didn't. They sort of thought they had, because they're nowhere checking.
No, that's right. So, but they get to this point,
and they're dead on. We can't find anything wrong with them at all. Duck down.
One more short, cramped journey, and we're in the heart of the pyramid, in King Khufu's burial chamber.
So here we are. It's the burial chamber of the king.
The climax of the pyramid. That's where he was buried, over there.
of course, they never found him, did they?
No, and his name's not on the box. There's nothing. It's completely plain. It's like the other rest.
There are no ornate hieroglyphs in this large tomb, but its granite walls are perfect.
These drawings are fantastic, aren't they?
Yeah.
When King Khufu died, his burial chamber was filled with luxuries from home, gold inlaid furniture and well-crafted jewellery. 4,500 years ago, it was a beautiful and sophisticated time. The only surviving statue of King Khufu, the bloke who built one of the 7 wonders of the world, is here at the Cairo Museum, and it's tiny.
Why is this the only thing that remains of Khufu?
It's just chance. All of ancient Egypt, what's left is just chance. You get one king, you get 100 statues, you get the guy who makes the Great Pyramid, you end up with this.
You like this little statue, obviously.
Well, he's a friend of mine. Lovely little bloke looking out into eternity. Look at him.
Back in the pyramid, this is where the adventure gets even more exciting.
You're right up there. It's a bit steep.
Yeah, I'm fine. Sort of, yeah.
Up a steep, unstable ladder into a tiny, claustrophobic corridor.
You all right, my dear?
Yes.
There you are.
Oh, I thought tomb raiding was meant to be fun.
Yeah, well...
We're exploring the small spaces above the king's burial chamber. No one's allowed up here, and this is one of the reasons why.
I'm stuck.
What makes this crazy journey worth it is that it's here, in these hot and airless chambers, that you get to see the marks of the pyramid makers.